The sound of pages turning means it's time for another episode from the Meredith Library Podcast Studio, bringing you the library's latest news, information, and fun.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode number 7 of Check It Out, here on the Meredith Library Podcast Studio. Anna, you have returned. You must have had fun the first time.
I had so much fun. And I've been so excited to come back and chat with you.
Me too. I'm so glad you are here. And I think our first episode came out awesome.
I agree. You taught me a little bit about some of my speaking habits
that
I'm going to work on. Apparently, I make a smacking noise. And I also need to tone down on my likes, which is just good for life anyway.
Okay,
so I'm going to work on it.
And we mean like, saying the word like as if you were a Valley girl from 1985, not likes on social media, for example.
I don't like things loosely on social media. I have to truly like it.
All right, serious.
But do you want to know a fact about the Valley girl accent?
I do.
So both saying like a lot and speaking with that low, drawn-out inflection was something that women started to pick up on and start to do because if they just paused, they'd get interrupted. So it was sort of a way to signal that you weren't done talking.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it was the Valley girls showing that they actually were really smart.
They were like, I'm not done. Wait your turn.
All right, that's really interesting. So now it's turned into a negative speech component.
That's what happens to the girls sometimes, just with what they do. Sometimes it's like, that's not professional.
So that's really interesting. You know, we probably have entire books studying these phenomena in communications.
We like communications. We're communications people.
Yes, both of us are, definitely.
Yeah.
Do we want to start off with your question of the episode, or do we want to follow up on the previous one? How are you handling that today?
I would like to shout out someone who responded to our question from the last podcast.
Okay.
For those of you that don't know what the question was, it was, if you were a flower, what flower would you be? Becca R. responded and she said, I would be an orange or a yellow lily because they are my favorite flower and the color matches my aura.
Oh, interesting.
So she thinks she has a orangey yellow aura. And so I think it would be an appropriate question to ask what color you think your aura is. Do you believe in auras, or what kind of color do you think you bring into the room when you enter?
I would go with blue. I'm going to say a calm blue, but no one's going to believe that. All right, how about this then? How about an ocean blue? Because it could be very calm, or it could be very tempestuous. That should be the word of the day.
It should be a word of the day. Okay, I love it. And I would say that I have a purple aura. And I don't even know if I have a reason for that other than, well, it's the color of royalty and I'm a queen.
I like that. Speaking of our previous question then, before we get into more inviting people to leave their comments about their aura colors. So that was Becca, you said was her name?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Becca, for reaching out and leaving a comment for us. And did she do that on Spotify?
Yes. So on Spotify, if you click on the podcast, there will be a Q&A section and you can type the reply and then we can receive them and you might get a shout out on the podcast. Wouldn't that be fun?
Definitely. And also people can leave comments on the Facebook page when it's listed. And I also put the podcast for the first time on Twitter. So it is there as well. So, can I follow up on something from last week too?
You may.
All right. So about the flower. Now, I know this is so ridiculous. People can think I did this on purpose so I can talk about my book twice. I actually misquoted myself.
What?
Is that sad?
That's embarrassing.
That's sad. It is embarrassing. You're right. And they don't even know that I actually had to record it twice last time and still managed to misquote myself because I edited out the first mistake. But anyway, when you were asking your question last week about what flower represents you, and I said a rose, so then I was quoting the thing that I wrote, which was the opening of one of my novels. So I'm going to reread it correctly this time.
Okay.
All right, ready? A relationship is like a rose. Clutch it, and you will know only its piercing thorn. But nurture it gently, and its beauty will grow beyond your greatest expectations.
So you missed the beauty part.
Yes, last time I said it will grow beyond your greatest expectations. I think to have the contrast, you really want that part about its beauty will grow beyond your greatest expectations.
It was good both ways, but
Thank you.
That extra word adds a little extra oomph.
Yes, I agree. All right, great. So anyway, we invite people, as we said, to leave comments for the current question, and we will be very excited to see what they have to say.
Yeah, give us a color, give us a reason why. It's not necessarily your favorite color. It's what color you think you bring into a room or a space based off of your energy and your personality.
Exactly. All right, that sounds good. We will look forward to seeing people's responses to that. For today's episode, we are going to be focusing on upcoming programs for the month of May.
Yes.
So that's why this is a check it out episode. We want you to check out these programs and see which ones you want to participate in here at the library with us.
Yes, please come down, join our programs. It's great for the library. You're helping us out when you come to our programs. And we love to have people come.
People can find all the programs we're going to be talking about and even more at meredithlibrary.org, and they can look for news and events or events calendar. There are actually many different ways to access this information right from the front page.
Yes, and if you come into the library, we have them in paper form, so you can bring them home, tack them up on your fridge.
Yep, we have a newsletter right at the circulation desk. And if you're standing at the circulation desk and look towards the function room, on the left-hand side, we actually have a giant bulletin board that has several of the programs that are going on, different classes or different talks to come to, and that's another way they can see. In fact, I saw people looking at that earlier today. So
always so much going on.
I know, it's crazy. All right, so you have some of them that you want to tell us about?
Yes. So the first one that we have going on is chair yoga, which is from 10 a.m. to 11 on Tuesday, May 7th.
Okay, and I know I've seen people doing that in the function room. There were many people in the room. It was very popular, and people were able to get exercise who may have mobility issues, and it's just easier for them to be able to sit down to do the stretches and move around, do things. So yes, I walked by a couple of times during one of the previous sessions of it, and I definitely saw a lot of people in there. They seemed to be having a great time too, which was good.
Yeah, and I think yoga gets this sort of reputation that you have to basically be like a pretzel to participate in it, that you have to be able to do headstands and twist your body in all these crazy directions. But this is an accessible yoga program because breathing and stretching your body is good for you no matter what your ability level is.
Yes.
And so I think it's a really good thing. There is a $10 fee.
Oh, there is a fee for this one. Okay, that's good to note. And you're right. My friend is, I don't know if the correct term is Master Yogi, and she actually could stand right in front of us right now in this room and twist herself into like a contortionist. And when I said that to her, I said, "Oh, yeah, you look like a master contortionist." She said, "Well, I'm glad you noticed that because I did study with a contortionist in addition to the yoga." So yes, she can do all those things. She can instantly do the handstand or headstand or whatever against the wall. It's amazing. So I think this will be a little less involved, so don't worry. This is much more of a beginner level yoga, so I think everyone will be able to handle it.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good time.
And the funny thing is, we should just tell people that we are actually looking right now on the website ourselves to get these lists of things. So we practice what we preach here at the Meredith Library.
That's how easy it is.
Exactly.
On May 8th, we have the Shakespeare group. They are going to be discussing the Comedy of Errors.
So they had about a month off in April, and now the official group is back. And every week they do one act of the play. So I believe it is 5 acts. You can see it there probably on the list. Mm-hmm. It's probably every week in May then to get through that one. And then I'm sure they will be starting another Shakespeare play right after that. I think, what was the most recent one? Was it Julius Caesar?
I think so, yeah.
That sounds familiar to me off the top of my head.
Have you ever read a Shakespeare play, like done a table read? Have you ever had to do that?
No, not in the way you're saying it now. Of course, like in high school, we would read it like that, but not as an adult past, or college level.
Well, yeah, no, me neither, but we did it in high school, and I always had so much fun because Shakespeare is funny. He's a funny guy, and you kind of, especially when I was in high school, I didn't think it was boring Shakespeare.
Right, it's how the language is used is clever, funny, yes.
Yeah, he's a silly guy.
I have a memory about that with King Lear. When we were reading it in English class in senior year, I was reading the part of King Lear, and we actually had to get up and move around a little bit. And I remember the English teacher saying, you're slouching. Is that how a king would move around a stage, around, the palace or whatever? And so she's like, stand up straight. And it was so funny. Then we had to walk across the stage for like honors and awards night and graduation. Like I remembered that. And she actually noticed it. And it was like months later, she said, oh, you must have been thinking about that when you walked across the stage. I was watching your posture. I'm like, oh my God, I was thinking about that. You're right.
Channeling your King Lear.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
That is funny. That's fun. Yeah. They're so, everyone can enjoy Shakespeare. I don't always understand what I'm reading, but you get the gist.
Right. You can make it. Yes. And you know what? I think in the class too, the class, first of all, is very popular. Mm-hmm. And the professor who's here, John Lynn, is very good at explaining everything, and people really enjoy it. I mean, I would say there's like 20 people that come right each Wednesday when they have it. And I see the same faces in there. So I know that people are coming back to it because they're getting something out of it and enjoying it.
There's a reason why we are still reading his books or his plays and his poems.
I agree. Well, they're classic plots, right? That's what it is. Yeah.
I mean, so many of the 2010, 2000 rom-coms were just Shakespeare reimaginings.
Yes.
Which is so funny. When learning that, I was like, what?
In fact, a book just came across the circulation desk yesterday, or no, not yesterday, a couple of days ago. It was called Vinegar Girl. And I noticed that it was a retelling of Taming of the Shrew. And they said that it was, I want to say Anne Perry. Does that sound right?
Yes.
So the publisher, and I can't remember which one of the major ones was it Random House or Macmillan, whoever, anyway. One of the big publishers, they have a whole series, and they were taking like popular best-selling authors and asking them to rework Shakespearean plays into like a modern retelling, and that was one of them.
You know what else? You know what movie is a retelling of Taming of the Shrew?
Tell me.
10 Things I Hate About You.
Really?
Yes.
I don't remember that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, with Heath Ledger. Yep.
Mm-hmm. What else? What other exciting things can we share with the audience?
Quilting series, doing t-shirt quilts on May 10th.
And that's a series. So weekly is May 10th and 17th.
Yes.
It explains it there. You have to come for multiple sessions for that. And what's so cool about that, one of the things for t-shirt quilting, one of the ideas rather, is that people could take like old sports jerseys and you can have like this keepsake made out of something that you otherwise would either throw away or have buried in a closet and not be useful. So it's a way to, and to reuse, reduce, recycle, all those things. So that's a really cool idea. Yeah,
I think it's a really good gift for your kid that's going to college or for, a grandparent, especially when all the shirts have some type of memories. My sister did a ton of plays in high school, so I think that she made a t-shirt quilt out of all of her company
the swag they give out or the souvenir.
Well, every play you'd get a t-shirt for the play.
Cool.
So yeah, and then just big theater blanket.
Oh, how neat. And let's say that's a good time to tell people how they sign up for these classes.
Yes. Well, why don't you take it away, Mr. LibCal?
Okay, so LibCal stands for Library Calendar, if you're wondering. And it's just the new system we have here at the library that we use to keep track of events and room bookings. All you have to do is go to our website, meredithlibrary.org. When you find the events calendar, you find the event you want, and if registration is necessary, you can do it right there. You just click on register for this event, and then all you have to do is put in your name and phone number and email address, and the system registers you for the event. And it's really cool, too. It has this thing on it that shows you how many spaces are left. So if the event has only 10 seats available, let's say, it will have this cool ribbon across the corner, and it says 9 seats left or 8 seats left. It's like that, that don't miss out, So it's really cool.
Makes me feel like I'm on Ticketmaster, going to see some famous artists.
Yeah, concerts or something. Right, exactly. Right, it's exactly correct.
You can also get put on the waiting list if it is full.
Good point. Right? Yes, so the system has that built in too. So if there are no seats left, you can actually still add yourself, and there's a waiting list. And people do drop out all the time for various reasons. And then you can have a seat after all, perhaps. So it's a great system.
The Meredith Public Library is so technologically on par.
That's right. We are
so advanced.
We are right there. All right. What else do you have for us on that list of exciting events for the month of May?
Container gardening.
Excellent choice.
Tips and tricks for successful container gardening. What is container gardening? Do you know what that is?
I do. Container gardening is when you plant your garden rather than in the ground directly, you put it in some kind of container. For example, I use those buckets you get from like Walmart or Lowe's. You know, the ones that are like $3 and they actually have their store symbols and logos right on them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we always use to grow tomatoes, for example. And last year we actually had 4 of them in the driveway. And we used PVC piping to put like you kind of picture this like a vertical pipe in each container, and then connected them across. And that way the tomato vines have something to follow up and go across. And you can put twine across too and give the plants more places for their vines to follow and to hang from.
That works. And that probably is really great for if you don't have a ton of yard space. Then you can use containers with an apartment or...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be those big 5-gallon containers either. I mean, it's just any container that is deep enough for the roots of the type of plant that you're growing. Lauren McCabe is the person who's running that. Mm-hmm. She's a master gardener. She's certified by the University of New Hampshire Extension, and she's had years of gardening experience, and she loves to speak to the crowd and take everyone's questions. So last time she was here, it was so popular, she hadn't even officially started yet. We were in the room, and she started off like 15 minutes of just answering people's questions. As soon as they started to arrive, they just started talking.
Gardening is one of those things that I feel like everyone wants to kind of know how to do, but maybe doesn't know how to get started, or there's probably little mistakes that you can make that if you could just avoid those, it would be everything go better. Exactly.
So the cool thing about the container gardening, if you can check those exact dates as I'm saying, is we're actually having it twice. There are 2 sessions, but she will be doing the same presentation 2 different times. And the reason is is so we can have one in the afternoon and one in the evening, whatever time is more convenient for our patrons to attend. So do you have the 2 different dates there?
I do. So the first session will be Tuesday, May 7th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. And the second session will be Thursday, May 23rd from 6:15 to 7:30.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Great. Do you have anything else on that list?
Let's see.
While you're searching, you want me to jump ahead for one for June? Because it's June 1st, so that's almost May.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so I'm really excited. We have an audiobook narrator. She is going to appear via Zoom direct from Los Angeles. So you just have to come to the function room. Not an online event, for the outside. People have to come to the function room. We will have her on our giant flat screen TV, and she will be appearing via Zoom from her home in Los Angeles, and she is going to talk about her work in the audiobook industry.
That's so interesting. And you record audiobooks.
Yeah. So, we met because she recorded one of my audiobooks. That's how we first met, and it was 10 years ago. And it's such a fascinating story that we met online as business associates, obviously. Mm-hmm. And 2 years ago, she actually came to Boston. She's from Boston originally. She came back here to visit her family. And she asked if I wanted to meet her in person. And the 2 of us spent the entire day together at the Mall of New Hampshire. We had never met in person, and we spent 8 hours together. Isn't that crazy?
That is so fun. Yeah. Did you get a soft pretzel at Annie's at the Mall of New Hampshire?
Well, we actually ate at Bertucci's, which is now closed, I found out when I went there.
R.I.P.
Yeah, after that. I did not get something from Annie's that I can remember.
I cannot go to a mall without getting a soft pretzel. It's physically impossible.
And it's hard to walk by the Cinnabon without wanting you can smell the cinnamon.
Yes.
Yeah, and that icing stuff. No. I'm trying to remember. Oh my God, it's been so long. She went to Dunkin' Donuts because, of course, they do have them. She said they have them in California, too. But you know how in California, it's all Starbucks. Anyway, so she was right. So she was glad to be back in the Boston area, and all the Dunkin' Donuts are easily available around here.
That's awesome. Okay. So she's going to be coming in and giving a talk.
Yeah. So she'll be appearing on the flat screen TV. She is going to talk about the industry. Like if people are wondering, how do I get into it? Am I right, to be an audio book narrator? And how do I find jobs and agents and auditions, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a really good session.
Just bringing the connections in.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. All right. Did you find something else for May?
I did. Right, so on Wednesday, May 8th from 6 to 7, there will be a lecture about financial planning basics.
Yes. Good one.
Which is important.
So you'll be there in the audience for sure then.
I should be. I really should be.
Well, yeah, we decided to start with financial planning basics because there are actually 150 different presentations that this organization can bring to us.
Really?
Right. And we discussed, what ones would we like to start with, because there's all kinds of things like, retirement planning, putting money in your IRA, all those kind of things. But we felt that the best one to start with was financial planning basics, which is applicable to people of all ages. And, even if you know tons about it, if you learn one little thing you didn't know, that could make a huge difference in your portfolio or your investment strategy or just managing your money, managing your budget. So it really is a valuable one for everyone. And that'll be a great way to introduce the speaker to our audience because we plan to have him come back monthly and do different presentations. And in fact, just like for the Lauren McCabe for the gardening, we plan to have her or someone from the garden club come monthly and do monthly gardening presentations as well.
So you can learn how to budget, how to grow your own food, just become the most...
Like homesteading almost.
Yeah, become the most self-sufficient,
Yes.
independent, superstar human. Yeah, I definitely should go to this myself. I barely know what a Roth IRA is, so...
All right, well, we will be looking forward to seeing you there, and then we can talk about it on a future episode of the podcast as well.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, is there anything further along in the month that you want to mention before we wrap up this episode of Check It Out?
In addition to all of our fun, dynamic new events, we have the classics like Karen's Story Times. Karen is the children's librarian. You can come in 10 a.m. to noon on Wednesdays and Fridays. I actually read on Wednesdays.
Oh, I didn't know
in,
that.
Yeah, come in on Wednesday. I do one of the books.
In fact, I think I've seen you. I didn't know it was a regular thing, I guess, but I've walked by and seen you sitting there, with the kids looking at you with rapt attention as you're turning the pages.
That's a good thing. I have decided that I am a rhymey book reader. If I'm reading a book to children, it's going to rhyme.
I like that.
Because that keeps them locked in.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got our book groups.
Okay, we have a mystery book group.
We do.
Yep, that is on
May 9th.
Okay, May 9th, mystery. May 9th at 10:30 in the morning.
Brown Bag book group. They're reading Horse by Geraldine Brooks.
Okay, and the Brown Bag book group is one run by Erin, and people can bring their lunch.
Yes, so you have lunch break. Come on in, chat about books, eat your food. Noon to 1 on May 2nd. The Sci-Fi Fantasy group is April 30th.
What time is that one?
It is at 6:30 to 7:30, and they are reading the book The Man in the High Castle.
Oh, okay. And that was a big Amazon show a couple of years ago, so they may be familiar with it from that. In fact, trying to get the covers that don't show the characters from the Amazon book was not easy, so some of the covers may actually be showing the character if you recognize the actor or actress from Amazon.
I know people do not like having photographs of actual human beings on their book covers. I have found this out.
I think they like to imagine themselves what the characters look like. I think it's that age-old debate about that.
Yeah, it seems like it messes with the internal imagination. Okay, so we've gone over a lot of what's going on for the month of May.
Right, and people can always get more details from the website or the newsletter, all those things that we mentioned. Yes, exactly. It's all out there for them, and we are welcoming you with open arms to the Meredith Public Library to all our events.
Please come. We love to have you.
All right, we'll see everyone next time, and we look forward to finding the answer to the question of...
What color is your aura?
All right, let us know in the comments section. Okay, Anna, until next time, it was fun.
Nice talking to you, Matthew.
All right, see you soon. Podcast music titled Daytime TV Theme by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0. Podcast copyright 2024. Meredith Library Podcast Studio.